So here we are at, I get my thumb out of the way, we're at the breakfast of day 2 of the ALA TechSource, ALA TechSource Gaming, Learning, and what's the third thing? Gaming, Literacy, and Libraries. Learning and Libraries. Libraries, Learning, and, Gaming, Learning, and Libraries Symposium. I think I got it right that time for the first time. What do you think about first day 1, and what are you looking for in day 2?
Well, day 1 was awesome. All amazingly brand new research that has never been published before. That's the cost of the conference alone is in seeing stuff like that.
Yeah.
The big thinkers, people doing the real stuff. It was amazing. And plus, the gaming night last night was incredible to watch.
Yeah, we got some video of you playing Super Mario Kart or whatever.
For the first time.
Yeah, I could tell you were kind of struggling there.
Yeah, just a bit. I'm 53.
Did you attend the gaming event last night?
I did.
Yeah, what'd you think of that?
It was really funny because all of the keynotes in different ways talked about one concept over and over, and that was that gaming really brings together people of all different walks of life, people from all different generations, and you really saw it in action because Eli had his 5-year-old son Nemo playing Dance Dance Revolution with a librarian in their 40s. It was hilarious, and so there's not very many other places where that happens, and so it was really funny to see people let their hair down and play Guitar Hero. The best thing about this conference so far is that it's the mood. I mean, besides the fact that what we've been talking about is really interesting, geeky stuff that I love, it's that the mood is totally different. It's laid back. People are having a good time. It's more like a big party, and we're all just hanging out talking about all the geeky things that we love the most. And so for me, it's the atmosphere that makes it really different.
The game metaphor helped him to understand the political process, and almost immediately he was beginning to apply this to thinking about the news, that there was a clear transfer of knowledge that we were observing in the family. He loved this game. He wanted to share it with all of his friends. And so he wanted to take it to school on Monday. And the school library had a policy that kids could come in during their lunch break and use the computers, which is a good policy, except that their policy was that kids could come in and do research, but they couldn't play games. And so predictably enough, the modern equivalent of Miss Crabapple, the librarian, who I think of as Cerebus standing in the gateway trying to sort out on the fly what constitutes play and what constitutes learning, right? A false distinction I think we're all going to hear this weekend, but one that she was given the task to do. And I don't want to vilify her as being a bad person, but predictably enough, looking at the box which said game, she said, you can't bring that game to school, right? And that was her philosophy. And I think if the kid had come in with a book about the political process in the fall of 1996, even one with Doonesbury cartoons plastering all over it, teachers would have been leaping for joy. But the fact that he wanted to bring a game into the library created such, was sufficient for her to shut it down. And it was that moment as a parent, I was really angry.
The speakers so far have been awesome. I think it's the best conference I think I've probably ever attended so far.
Yeah, what do you think of that last speaker, James Paul, either
He
G or
was
Guy, I don't know how you pronounce it.
He was great. I've read his book and a couple of articles that he's written, and I think there's a lot of ways that as librarians we can take what he says and mix it into our services.
So, Cindy, what kind of candy is it?
Lemon from the back table.
Is it good?
Yeah.
So how would you rate the candy at the conference here? Is this your first experience with the candy at the conference? Or?
Yes, it is.
I had one of those little mini Snicker bars that they were handing out yesterday. It was very Snickery.
I missed those.
Yeah, I'm talking about the use of Second Life in libraries. I've been doing a kind of informal survey on which libraries, just finding them online, that use Second Life are more why they're actually using them. It's part of a fallout of a wider survey on the use of Second Life in academic departments and universities in the UK.
So you think the coming academic year is going to be sort of like the big sort of test year, rollout year for academic courses in Second Life?
In the UK, yes, definitely.
So we're recording right now. So I'm getting ready to give my talk. So just so from the viewing audience here, that I'm up here, and this is what it looks like if you're a speaker at one of these ALA conferences. And this is kind of And I think what, to take it to the next level, maybe I ought to like hook up a heart monitor to my heart, and so to have at the bottom kind of like my heart rate going at the same time that I'm speaking. Here's Jenny Levine, one of the conference organizers, after the first day of the conference. Jenny, how you feeling? It's kind of like the locker room report or something. Did you bring your A game with you today?
If I had an A game, I would have.
So it's the start of day 3 of the ALA TechSource Gaming, Learning, and Libraries Symposium in Chicago. It's Tuesday morning. It's been a very exciting conference. The group's been very manic, and I'm wondering if the energy level will be a little bit lower today than it has been on Sunday and Monday. So let's go find out. In your course, do you talk about a particular crucial development in modern gaming, computer gaming?
Well, in the classes, kind of designed to give everyone a very broad overview of all the sort of theoretical topics around games. Every student kind of has their own idea of what they think was the seminal moment, but there is an interesting shift when you get to to Miyamoto when he designed Donkey Kong, and I think that's sort of when games really became interesting. He has the character Jumpman, who later on becomes Mario, and Donkey Kong, and it adds this level of personification to the games where they become a fuller, richer world, which I think is really interesting. I mean, there's all sorts of interesting things, topics around games and libraries, one from how they're archived to one how we allowing people to go back and play old games, which is a challenge we faced in my class. But then things like tournaments or where it engages the community and gets people to play them. That's really exciting.
I write a blog called Research Quest, and it's really, when I started this, to me the process of research, and I'm a lead information literacy instructor, is very similar to what I've done for years playing a game, is that I'm evaluating sources, I'm determining a need for information, and I'm finding ways to apply it, which are really the keys to information literacy, is, finding, evaluating, and using information. And so there is that potential to make those connections.